What is the alien God belief? And is it a religious genetic modification cult? Is it a modern-day literalist interpretation of our ancient past? And does it contain any spiritual value that truly drives and evolves humanity? This belief in alien gods insists that human beings are alien genetic modifications created as slaves, that all great figures such as Zoaster, Jesus, and Buddha are really aliens and angels are controller beings or slave masters. Their spiritual powers and gifts to humanity are only possible because they are from off-world. Doesn't this mean divinely created human beings are incapable of achieving what they have achieved? Does this not negate our sovereignty and self-creative abilities? Under this paradigm, the divine spiritual significance of ancient masters, wisdom teachers, and angels are discredited and removed from the heart of humanity. Esoteric wisdom teachers feel that society is becoming more and more narcissistic and technologically oriented. They believe that this kind of superiority propaganda can be devastating to our spiritual partnership with the angelic hierarchy. They acknowledge our truly helpful alien brothers and sisters, those beings that are helpful to humanity and care deeply for our continued success. These alien beings respect the natural laws, guide our realm, and do not claim to be our creators. Many may even collaborate with our spiritual guides and angels in a positive way to assist our evolution. According to our guides, it is an increasingly important time for humanity to acknowledge the degree to which some groups have used a perversion of spirituality in confronting our esoteric wisdom teachings and sacred spiritual roots. Let's discuss how this alien god cult was created, by whom, and for what purpose. Hey, welcome everybody to Andromeda 7, your celestial gateway. Our channel focuses on community support, friendship, love, and knowledge, and we're committed to being of value to others, and we assist them in their ascension in the new age spiritual enlightenment. Thank you to all our new followers through Facebook, Instagram, Minds page, as well as our YouTube channels, including Pure Love Ascension, which is our backup channel. We bring people through the Andromeda 7 gateway for spiritual development and education, and to assist with the uniqueness of spiritual growth. There are many other channels that assist in that growth, but look for our channel and subscribe, Andromeda 7 Celestial Gateway, sometimes referred to as the A7 group. Well, it's Friday night and it's time to feed your mind and grow your heart. And tonight's topic is Cult of the Alien God Belief. This is a big subject. We've got a big panel tonight. Let's welcome our panel, Teresa D'Anton. Thank you for being here. Sophia, good to see you. Dalabar Suki. Hope, always a pleasure having you on as well.
Hello.
And of course, Grandpa Brian, our beautiful Grandpa Brian. Thank you for being here as well. Give a quick shout out to everyone in chat. Hey, Truth Seeker, good to see you. Yes, wonderful. Mark the Arc Spark, beloved Abstract, good to see you, sir. Go, loving your channel, Go. I love your
Go.
content, by the way. And yes, you are our Croatian family. So good to have you with us. Let's see. Ocean Empire. Michael, it's good to see you as well. Hope you had a wonderful week. Yep, things went well for you. Mary Wins, thank you for being here. Mary is one of our, and Truth Seeker as well, our moderators for the channel. So let's keep it clean tonight. No profanity, please. That would be wonderful. Okay. I am going to send this over to Teresa. She's got some opening remarks and she's going to start this off for us. And this should be a very fascinating topic and one that we've been prompted to bring to you. So I give it to you, my beautiful co-host, Teresa.
Thank you, Lori. Appreciate it.
You're so welcome.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome. It's good to see you all. Listen, tonight's discussion is an opportunity to tackle a really tough topic that a lot of people feel uncomfortable with that are fairly new to the spiritual community. Um, there are folks out there who say that the measure of human advancement is actually pure spiritual development. Spiritual development without all the bells and whistles of a material techno world dependency or off world intervention. So they're like on the aliens, they don't believe
They
anything
dump
about
on the
aliens.
aliens.
They take a major dump on aliens. And there are others who believe that ask the question, is humanity still capable and willing to go deep within themselves to find their pure love good source within? Or are we focusing too much thought and too much of our energy outwards by looking for material things other than our humanness? Things, other beings, for example, interdimensionals, uh, and even aliens for some type of salvation. And I don't think it's about salvation, although it could be. It is
Mm-hmm.
for some religious groups, I'll tell you. Thoughts are things, as Lori's always saying, and everything we create has some value. Worship of things, worship of material externals, doesn't necessarily provide value for spiritual development, some say, or does it? What are the risks? Do we fully understand the foundation of some of our beliefs these days? And if we do, how does this change the way we think about things? Now, I don't have any experience contacting aliens. Folks on the panel might. I've never channeled them or connected with them, and I have deliberately closed the door to them until I feel more comfortable with what I'm connecting to now. That's just me.
It's all we
That
can take
doesn't.
right now.
That's all I can take. Is like all of a sudden I've got all these angels I'm talking to, and it's like I
Yeah.
haven't been doing this. I haven't been doing this for 15 years. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
so I can't take the.
Yeah.
But I have had dreams about being in other planets. I've had
Mm-hmm.
visions of
Yep.
and I
I
have
have
some
past
memories.
lives. Yep.
I have some memories, but that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean I originated out there somewhere. But anyway, so I thought it'd be an opportunity. And the thing that most concerns me, you all, is not alien contact or even that there's a federation supposedly that's trying to help us and teaming with the angels maybe to help us. It's the folks that, now get this, this is ironic. They were so disappointed with the various different religions and felt so controlled by religiosity and the structure of religion that they thought becoming spiritually awake meant getting rid of all those religions, just focusing on spiritual development and natural law and things like that, and learning how to use tools and spiritual tools. But then they started getting into the whole alien communication aspect of things. And some of the things that they've bought into have created a religion. And this religion stems from, and we're going to talk a little bit about it tonight, began early on during Germany during World War II, during some of these secret societies like the Thuls and the Vrills, and their ideas and concepts about alien gods, perfect races, genocide, and it's evolved into almost a new world type of religion. And there's various different cults waiting for the aliens to come back and rescue them from this planet. They're worshiping them. They say we have been created by them to be their slaves. They say the spiritual masters and teachers that we all studied over time through various different ages and epochs are actually aliens who are our slave masters. And so we talked about that a little bit in the opening video. So we're just going to kick it around a little bit and get some different perspectives on this from different people with different backgrounds. Brian, Hope, Sophia, Dalibor, we all come from different environments and different understandings. And folks in the chat room, if you want to join our live chat room, we've got some folks in there that have some thoughts on all this too. So we want to give a balanced view of things. But I do want to cover some of the foundational beliefs as to how this evolved, because I think unless you understand some of that, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around it. And we got a lot of new folks just stepping into this, like I was a couple of years ago, going, "What?" I had to call David Null and go, "What is the Federation?" So it's just like totally. Thank God I had some of you to talk to about it, because you did help open me up to the possibilities. I'd always believed in aliens, but never to the extent that some of these folks are doing. They're actually committing harm to themselves, both mentally and physically. And they're introducing it to children, and they're introducing it into consciousness in such a way that it's become a new religion. That's every bit as crazy as some of the religions we followed all along that got us into trouble. So anyway, let's start with Sophia. Let me ask you, as a spiritualist, the kind of connections do you make? What do you think of all this? What do you think about aliens versus your kind of contacts and what you see going on?
The first thing that I would like to speak to is what I do with my religions or my philosophies, my interaction with spirit is not worship. Because in my world, it's equal. There's boundaries, there's understandings, there's things like that. So as far as worshiping, that's just it's not healthy, at least not for me. I would say my experience with AI and aliens and things like that is very limited because I'm very old school. I like books, I like paper, I like pen. I mean, I'll use the internet for resource and recourse, but it's not my default. But I would say I've never been out to those areas, to experience the energy of that land for myself.
Right.
And it's not really part of my truth, although I don't think it's a coincidence like everybody's saying. It's like we have something crash, in the desert, and then 60 years later we're working with flat screens. Sorry, kids, but that's that we go from Morse code to what we're doing now in that amount of time, and we've been down here how long? I mean, I stick to the facts when it comes to things like that, but if it's to be part of my truth, it will be part of my truth, and I'll navigate it to the best of my ability when and if it does present itself.
Right.
So that's where I'm at.
I get that. Kind of the same. Yeah, I get that. Brian, what about you, buddy? Any UFOs land on your lake down there at the cabin?
No, but last weekend I had my friends down and we were out playing poker out underneath the little canopy out there, and there was a couple of people that went and playing, and they actually seen 12 UFOs fly overhead and never said a word to any of us.
Oh man!
Wow!
Wow!
Yeah, when the Bible says we were created in God's image, they weren't talking about the flesh; they were talking about the spirit.
Right.
If you worship something that is actual flesh, you're actually worshiping an alien. Like the entity Ra that came down to the Egyptians, and he was there to teach them about the law of the one infinite creator, God. But they misinterpreted his arrival as him being God. So, I look at it this way: if you worship something in the flesh, you're worshiping an alien. And why would God want you to worship him? Why would God need you to worship him?
Right.
I mean, he's a part of us and we're a part of him. Worshiping him is worshiping yourself. And to me, that is feeding the ego.
Thank you. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way, and that's kind of how I looked at things too. And I even felt that way about the Bible characters that I grew up with as a Catholic.
Same here.
I never believed Jesus. I never could accept that he was God, in the flesh. But I do believe that there was a spirit of him And I understood the esoteric value of him from the very beginning, much to the disappointment of my friends and family. So, Hope, how about you? I understand you've had some contacts with some
Um,
aliens.
I have. I don't like that word. I feel like they are galactic beings, celestial beings. I could not get the video that showed it was skipping in and out. How
Uh-huh.
did you distinguish between the angels and aliens? Did you say you call those celestial beings and not? I didn't get that part because I couldn't hear what you were saying about the angels.
Well, we didn't go into a huge distinction on the video about it, but what we did say is that there seems to be a belief that all of those celestial beings are aliens from other worlds and other
Right,
universes,
right.
and that they
Um,
created us, not source. That source, they don't have a source. They're
okay,
disconnected from source in a different way than the hierarchy that we all tap into and channel with the archangels. That
okay.
they're
That's
not
what
related, and they replaced them.
okay.
They'll
That's what
replace concepts. Yeah.
the specific religion believes. Okay. So I agree with both Brian and Sophia about you should not be worshiping. This is
Right.
the beings that I work with are here to help. They are not here to control us. We still have free will. You should never give up your free will. You should never feel like any of these beings are controlling you and they are the master and you are the slave. You should never feel that. I mean, that's how I feel. It's an alliance. It's communication to help and to lift up the world, not to bring it down. I feel like some of the movie creations of the green aliens and all that, I believe that some of that was just very dramatic. I don't feel that when I talk to other beings. I got started with talking to, which is called a Galactic Alliance. And I was getting for 20 or 30 years all kinds of symbols and codes, and I didn't know what to do with them. And I kept asking other people, and they were like, well, yeah, I know what that is. That's a fractal, that's a something else. But I didn't know why I wasn't getting it. And I was told you just have to ask. So as soon as I asked, I got all of the symbols and what to do with them and who was working with me. And the main one that I work with are the galactic beings. And they are here just to help us uplift ourselves. The codes that I got, they're a meditation and it's an interactive meditation. So whomever is in the group will open up to their own divine wisdom and their own ancient wisdom, and they will know where all of these should go, and they interact energetically. So everything is basically energetically, and it sends planetary cohesiveness. It sends healing to the planet. It connects with Mother Earth. It connects with various dimensions. But when I deal with any being, angels, celestial, of course, when I deal with God, everything feels natural and very loving. There's never any that I have to do something. It's always for our benefit, for the earth benefit. And when I've heard that people have quote said they've been abducted by aliens, I do believe them, but I feel like you automatically gave up your free will. No one, anyone is allowed to touch me without my permission or take me anywhere without my permission. So that's where I kind of get into feeling uncomfortable with where they say that, they're controlling us or whatever. Does that make sense?
It
Yes.
does, complete and totally.
Perfect.
There's
Perfect.
a
Thank you.
long way to get around to that, but
No, but that's what we're looking for. Dalibor, aliens, angels, interdimensionals, or all of the above? Are they one and the same?
Honestly, we don't really know. I personally haven't had any interactions with anything that could be called an alien. Uh, what's that hum in the background?
Oh, it's your spaceship landing on your apartment.
I don't know.
No, you didn't.
I saw
he's gonna get abducted.
I saw a UFO when I was 11 years old. It was a daylight disc, and it was accompanied by like a cessation of all the sounds in the area, and it was just really weird. Nobody else saw it except me, and I'll leave it at that. As to the aliens, there's no proof that they actually exist. They've been theorized to exist. They've been hypothesized to exist, but and if they do exist, are they better than us? Presumably, yes. There's some sort of like a dream team, like FC Aliens, like this football team or whatever. I don't know.
Let me get this straight. Are you saying that they don't exist?
No, I'm not saying they don't exist. We have no proof that they exist.
have no proof.
Okay. I'm
There's no
glad you
proof.
clarified that.
Yeah, there's no proof that they exist. I mean, and if a being contacts you and says I'm an alien, well, that could just be for the purposes of elucidating some type of response or presenting himself as something otherworldly, something outside of your own realm, outside of your own experience. But as to making that a part of religion, well, religion is just another ideology. It's just another way of controlling people, just like government. It's a social control matrix and nothing more. And it has very little, if anything, to do with real spirituality, because real spirituality doesn't involve things like dogma or ritual or a certain type of dress or a certain type of diet or any of that stuff. If anything, true spirituality can be summed up in something as simple as I don't know, the Ten Commandments. Something really basic, something do no harm, things of that nature. But as to the existence of actual physical aliens, I kind of doubt it. I think our our theory about the existence of Earth and everything is very warped. We don't really know. We don't really have all the answers. We think we do. We're arrogant enough to believe that we're the most intelligent species on the planet. And again, we have no. We have. We have,
Arrogant.
We know our
proof.
stuff.
We have exactly. We have no proof that we're the most intelligent on the planet. None.
Yeah.
So, well, what if let's take that down a notch and say, all right, what if the great apes, what if the monkeys believed that they were the most intelligent? And so naturally, we know that they're not. That we're a bit more or we think we're more intelligent than the monkeys. Now, if one of us decided that we wanted to affect their civilization, how would we present ourselves? We'd present ourselves as, well, we're aliens to you. For want of a better definition, we're your aliens. Now, as superior beings, as being more intelligent than the monkeys, would we try to control their religion? Would we try to control how they believe, what they believe? I don't think so. I don't think we would do anything like that.
Yeah, I would hope not. I would certainly hope not. Lori, what's your take on it?
Well, I would say I absolutely believe that there are aliens. They exist. Only I don't see them as an alien. I just see them as a more evolved type of spiritual being that understands and knows their past. Like we come in with this veil of forgetfulness, but the aliens don't. They have they have complete recall of every life they've ever had. Regardless. So they are more connected to source because they don't have that veil of forgetfulness. Dolores Cannon talks about it the custodian. She's written several books about it. And I've absorbed a lot of the information that she put out. And just from what I understand from her teachings, yeah, they do exist. But they're not here to make things difficult on us. There are reasons why people are abducted, and typically that can be an agreement, a soul agreement to experience that or to aid and assist. I think we all remember, Roswell. You remember Betty and Barney Hill, who was abducted. Lots of physical proof with that. They used a lot of hypnosis and, taking people back. Uh, Schreiber, Whitley Schreiber, that one as
Strieber.
well. I'm sorry, Strieber. Yeah, that's correct.
Travis.
Yeah, and I mean, there's just so many cases, so I just don't see that as being happenstance or, but that's
Yeah,
my take.
The Travis Walton case is interesting. Yeah, he had physical
Mhm.
proof. There's been a lot of physical proof cases, but I'd like to see any one of these alien abduction cases where the aliens themselves, or purporting to be aliens, said we are aliens. Did they ever say? Did they ever actually come out and say it?
They're
Yeah.
just
No,
who they are. They're,
It was
I
how
think
they were perceived.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's human perception, but I think they
yeah,
see themselves more as like a cousin or part of the family, part of the
yeah.
galactic
Yeah, I do too.
family.
And I
Hmm.
tell you, when I was studying, when I was young, questioning all this the first time around, I was reading, I was a Catholic and I was reading the Bible. And every time an angel showed up in the Bible as a messenger, whoever they appeared to, Mary and Joseph and Abraham and all that. And I turned around to my dad and I said, Dad, these are aliens, aren't they? And they're describing bright white lights in the sky. And if you just go through scripture, not just the New Testament, but parts of the Old Testament and other ancient scriptures, you can see where modern thought has relabeled them as aliens. When I talk to my guides about it, and I go to what I call the archangels, and I have discussions with them, what's been described to me is that we need to view all of the interdimensional beings and the spiritual hierarchy as part of all source, all parts of one. So we are related to them. We're interrelated as brothers and sisters, and you can view them through your thought any way you want. You want it to look like Dino, the dragon, or the dinosaur? Fine. You want it to look like an angel with wings flapping? Fine. Whatever you can relate to. It's what matters is that there's a spectrum of different energies and different frequencies. And how they communicate with you, from what I understand, I only know what I communicate with. I can't speak to the aliens because I don't yet. But those energies are what you tune into, just like a radio dial. You tune into what you need to tune into when you need to. And sometimes they'll try to reach you with a message. You can either turn that channel on or turn it off or skip to another channel. They're all part of a spectrum, and so they're all, I never saw a distinction between them. And even when I watched Star Trek and Moonbase Alpha and all those science fiction, I loved them. I loved every sci-fi show that ever was made. And but I never bought into the fact that they were actually, that was just entertainment for me. I never considered the fact that they were physical like we are as humans. I always considered them as different energies, and I still do. And so that's how I experience the spiritual world, the noetic side of things, is through connecting with different energies. And we are different energies. When I connect with Lori on an energetic level, it's very different than when I'm sitting here and connecting with her physically. Or when I met Brian and Sophia and hugged them and felt them physically, that was a certain energy, but I feel them all the time on a spiritual level too. Dalibor, many of the people that I connect with. So I think that from my perspective, they're one and the same. It's just how we label them. so that we can talk about them in the way that we feel we need to talk to. But I think they're all interconnected. And I think that they're brothers and sisters, just like the angels are. And I
Yeah,
don't think that they're our creators or our lords or our masters. Go ahead,
yeah,
Delmore.
but sure, I get what you're saying, but by labeling them as aliens, by labeling them as off-world,
Right.
that automatically presupposes that they are somehow better than we are, right?
I disagree.
I'm not saying that
That
we're
is
the
just
cat's
different.
meow. I'm not
I
saying.
disagree. I label you as Dalibor. I label Sophia as Sophia. I label you as a man. I label Sophia as a female. That doesn't mean that Sophia is better than you or that you're better than Sophia. What I'm saying is linguistically, humans have to find ways to communicate things, and we don't all speak the same language. So we put into words what we think we're feeling or understanding. So we label it an alien, or we label it an angel,
by
or we label it.
by that definition, all the gods are aliens.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
in that case they would be
Exactly.
human gods,
Yeah.
right? And what's a human god? Well, that would be like a spirit, a ghost, or an ascended master, or
right.
Something like that.
Go ahead, Hope.
Does anybody have a definition in the dictionary of what is alien? Does anybody
That's so
have that?
funny you said that, because
Yeah,
I was just
go ahead,
getting
Lori,
ready
go
to
for
look
it.
it up.
Go for it, girl.
I was like, maybe
Because
we should
to
just
me,
get into
it's
that.
just something
Here-
different, something that is not known in your, not perceived as normal or to what you are used to. But I'm curious to see what the dictionary says.
According to the dictionary, the definition is, and it's an adjective, belonging to a foreign country or nation, and the noun is a foreigner, especially one who is not naturalized citizen of the country where they are living, an illegal alien.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
So that's connected kind of with the countries, but you can look at that as that they came from another place or came from another energy or another dimension. But I don't like the word alien. I feel like they are energetic light beings, and that's how they come to me, as energetic light beings that are here to help. Again, I think the movies have just really ruined a lot of stuff.
It's like an overlay
because
on
they want to,
yeah,
just like horror movies, and they're for entertainment. And I don't see any of the beings that I work with like that. They're all here to help, and they want us to be able to get to higher consciousness levels.
I like
more assisting our growth.
Right.
Hope. Yeah.
Assisting, not dominating.
Assisting.
They're not dominating. They do not make you feel they don't make you feel bad. They don't tell you to do anything. It's all assisting, and you have the choice.
You're a spiritual being. You are a sovereign being. You are a whole and part of God. You're free to make your own choices and to make your own decisions. So there's nothing alien making my decisions for me.
Right.
I simply have it in my mind how I'm going to deal with something.
Right. I like the Steiner when he came out with he talked about races. Maybe if we view them not as aliens but of a different race. Like I was saying, there's a spectrum. There are different energy levels. So if we think of it in terms of races, although I don't want to sound racist, but that they are just a different form or different flavor of one another, different aspect of one another. Just as we have multiple races as humans. Why not view the beings, why not view hidden, the unseen world of energy beings as different races? Why not? So, anyway, when they say that aliens or angels move at speed of thought, I wonder if that means teleportation. That's from Gogo. Probably. All right, well, so now let me, I thought we'd take a few minutes just to go over where some of this is leading now into the cultish practices and the foundation of where some of this belief started, okay? So I started researching it. I put a spreadsheet together. I'm just going to read off of it a little bit. And it shows how our thoughts have evolved over time, okay? So we start out early on with stories about past lives and people actually experiencing what life was like in Atlantis when we were first forming as humans. And so in anthroposophy and theosophy and different philosophies, they talk about the Lemurians and the Atlanteans and how we weren't fully developed and fully into the matter yet. And they talk about the relationship between the different seven spheres and the Earth's evolution and how the planets talk to one another and how we all were evolved through these phases of development from falling out of the spiritual realm and into the material world. From then on, after that, during the epochs, the post-Atlantean epochs, different groups of people in India and in Egypt and Rome, as we just said, visioned, interacted with what they felt were these different representations of different energies and eventually started worshiping them as gods, as Brian had explained really well. But then in 200 AD, Lucian of Samosata in eastern Turkey, he was a writer of satire and a practitioner of rhetoric of Assyrian descent. And among his works is a novel he wrote called Vera Historia, the true story, he called it. This is in 200 AD. It details a journey to the moon and the discovery of a multitude of life there, and that lunar life includes three-headed vultures, birds made of grass with wings and leaves, humans sweating milk, and fleas the size of elephants. Lucian didn't hide that this was a fantasy. In fact, he was in part making a philosophical point, using these characters to show the impossibility of real truth and the fallacy of other thinkers for claiming to be arbiters of truth, including hollowed folk like Plato. But this tale is one of the earliest known where detailed alien life is actually imagined, and that the beings of the moon are even at war with beings of the sun. So it gets introduced into our consciousness early on as a possibility. It keeps going. Around 10th century, 901 to 1000. Japanese narrative or Monogatari, the tale of Princess Cayuga, have various versions where the princess has been sent to Earth from the people of the moon during a celestial war. But this story has aliens in human form, not as etheric beings. Then skip up into 1700s and early 1800s with astronomer William Herschel. The possible existence of solar life was being rumored. Herschel wasn't writing fantasy. He really suspected that there could very well be living things on the sun, on a hypothetical solid surface, not influenced by any psychic ability or noetic contact. He was just speculating that there's probably life like ours on the sun. In 1864, you have a French astronomer called Camille Flammarion. He was a far-out advocate of a blend of Christianity and pluralism in which souls passed from planet to planet. Now, this is pretty cool because he's still remembering, it looks like, some of the ideas of reincarnation. He wrote a book called Real and Imaginary Worlds, and in 1887, a fictional piece called Lumen. Between these, he created aliens that in many ways had a basis in the scientific thinking of the time. There were sentient plants whose digestive and respiratory systems were combined, mermaid-like creatures swimming in rose-colored oceans, and human-like beings with extra toes on the heels of their feet and a single conical ear on the top of their heads. He never claimed to have any visions with any of this. He was just writing. He was using his imagination. We all love Jules Verne. 1902 comes along, Trip to the Moon, featuring the very first moon alien ever, called the Selenite, moon aliens. Skipping to 1933 to 1945, during World War II, the secret Thul, and Vril Society. Thul, Delaware?
Thule and Frill.
Thul and Frill, behind the Nazi Third Reich. Richard Wagner composed the Ring Circle by combining German and Scandinavian mythological stories and folktales together to formulate a new German religion and a manifest destiny. Georg Lanz von Liebenfels. There were two Austro-Germans who were the heads of small secret societies supporting the Germanic racial mysticism. They were Georg Lanz von Liebenfels, a racist theorist, and Guido von List, an occultist. Liebenfels believed that the Aryan race was created by divine aliens and that Germans were the only survivors of these alien deities in their purest form. To promote German racial consciousness, Liebenfels established a secret fraternity called the Ordo Novi Templii, or New Templars. Then he published a magazine called Ostara. Guido von List also dreamed of reviving Germanic paganism, worshipping warrior gods, and using magical scripts and symbols, including the swastika. His ideas generated a lot of secret societies, including the Reich Schamarsbund, or Reichshammer League, and the German Order. They didn't have considerable influence on the public at the time, but their eventual contributions led to the German destiny was that they served as the environment for the inception of Nazism itself. Now, the Thule and Vril societies led by Maria Orsic. She was a Vietnamese-born spiritualist, she called herself, or psychic, instrumental in investigating research into alternative sciences, and was actively pursued by the Nazi Party. She was actually an author that wrote play scripts. She didn't have any scientific training at all. The Vril consisted of female mediums employing remote viewing, Max, and other spiritual tools to obtain messages from other galaxies. And they claimed other dimensions of reality from those who supposedly once engineered the entire human race. Her mysterious drawings launched the search for new energy forms, resulting in experiments to manipulate gravity, space, and time, and nobody can prove for sure that she actually existed, as there's a lack of written material in the records about her. Lots of stories, but no documentation. So I'm going to stop right there for a second. Dalibor, where I'm going with this, we talked about it a little bit, is how this influence from this particular society, supposedly they were getting all this advanced technology and alien help. What do you think about that? Do you think they were actually communicating with off-world entities or beings from other dimensions to get this advanced technology?
I mean, it's tough to say. I don't really have a decided opinion on it. I mean, I know of their existence and I know of their claims, but if anybody was in contact with higher beings, I would say it would be the Americans, because the Americans, since that time period, 1933 to 1945, they've been the world leaders in technology, not the Germans. Yes, granted, a lot of these Nazi scientists after the war wound up emigrating to the United States and founding NASA, like Werner von Braun, and about 1,500 other Nazi scientists that were shipped to various institutions like Los Alamos, various research institutions and stuff like that. So there definitely was something there. I mean, like I said, I don't really know what the origin of that that knowledge may have been.
It brings to question. I have a question, and this is good for people like Lori and Hope to help me with, I know for sure. And that is, if aliens mean us no harm, and aliens are trying to help humanity, why on earth would they allow themselves to be channeled through someone like this when they were into genocide and trying to take over the world and stomp out all humans and create the perfect master race?
Why would they give us knowledge of things like nuclear weapons and nuclear fission?
So my
Because
question
there's
is,
good
are these
energy
good
and
ones?
bad energy.
Okay, so these were the ones with the
There's
not so great energy that were siding with Hitler.
there's always something like a more dense energy, a more negative energy, a government, whatever you want to call it, that wants to be in control. And that wanting to be dominant and controlling, that's when that happens, is what I believe, because the entities that I speak with don't have any desire to control anything. I feel like you have good people, you have bad people, you have good dimensions, bad dimensions, and that's where you get the control.
They have free will as
and,
well.
and you have free will what you want to do with that information. I mean, Hitler had free will in what he wanted to do, and he decided to dominate over people and to hate. I mean, and he wasn't the only one, but I think when it comes into fear and hate, that's when you get the controlling and the dominance and the hurting people. And if you want to use the energies and for love and light, then it becomes to help people. That's just my opinion, though. But
I agree.
that's where I think you got the difference.
Yeah, but if that's the case, then I would say that all sides involved were in contact with those negative entities, because there was not a single party to World War II that you could say was objectively good, objectively on the side of good. Not the Americans, not the Russians, not Germans, not
That's a good
England,
point.
nobody.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody was committing genocide at that time other than Hitler's group.
At that time.
The Americans didn't send anybody to the gas chamber. No, the Russians didn't either. Okay?
Yes, they
But
did.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yes, they did.
Later on.
Not later on. They had an ongoing Gulag program during World War II. That was
The Russians did?
Yes, Stalin was in charge, remember?
I remember Stalin being in charge, but I don't remember them
He
committing
died in
genocide.
1940. Yes, he did. There was a massive genocide in Russia using the Gulag system, and Stalin died in 1949.
So he was actually more pro-Hitler then.
Yeah, and the Japanese were committing genocide on a mass scale in Manchuria. They killed millions and millions of Chinese.
Wow.
But yet these aliens chose to work with the Nazis. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Then we go into 1950. This is after World War II. Going into 1950, you got Elon Hubbard showing up on the scene with his girlfriend Leni Riefenstahl and his father, who was a Thule during World War II, and what they call the Galactic Confederacy. The Galactic Confederacy. Okay. Now, a lot of people think this is the Galactic Federation that many of our spiritualists are in contact with today. We'll get Hope's take on this in a minute. But it's actually a different group. It's a different group. He wrote Dianetics, a spiritual manual. He was an author, a playwright into sci-fi, science fiction, and fantasy. His first financial success was with his publication of Dianetics. Then he departed the field of science fiction writing for many years and came back to it and refashioned his material of his space opera novels into the Scientology religion, publishing his own spiritual technology, as well as his ideas about business administration, literacy, and drug rehabilitation. In 1950, the Dianetics group that he has was discussing the difference between the relationship between mind and body. So it started off as a very spiritual discussion group. But then in 1960, his girlfriend, who was part of that society, was doing a debut of her film with him. She was known for her pre-war Nazi propaganda films, the 1935 Triumph of the Will, which turned a Hitler rally into a spectacle of high art, and then in 1938 Olympia, that she did the same for the Berlin Olympics. She became Hitler's go-to filmmaker for propaganda as Germany prepared for war. All right? And his dad was serving in the Thule Society, also as a Nazi. And Brian, feel free to step in anytime if you want to speak up about the Nazis or anything you might be able to tell us. Let's see. Here's the main extraterrestrial societies that Scientology introduced into our minds, into our gnosis in 1954. Helitribus and the Markabians. Extraterrestrial societies. Traumatic memories from these past lives are said to be the cause of many present-day physical and mental ailments, but nobody in the society had any memory of past lives or had done any past life regressions or done any channeling. Scientologists also said that human beings possess superhuman powers which cannot be restored until they have been fully rehabilitated as spiritual beings through the practice of auditing through these alien families. Based on some elements of these storylines, it was produced by Gene Roddenberry. He hopped on it and in 1966 created Star Trek, which then turned all of these beings into physical bodies. It was very entertaining. I love Star Trek.
I'll bet you Gene Roddenberry was tapped in.
Yeah, he may have been. Because
Dolores Cannon talks about I can't remember the way they put it. It's about not messing with any other planet or
Prime Directive.
The Prime Directive.
Prime Directive.
That's it. Gosh.
Prime Directive. Right.
Yeah, that's what I was
see
trying
what I
to
mean
say.
about two different thoughts about this federation. One federation is very nefarious, and the other is very friendly. So, in
Positive and negative.
1976, Brad Steiger comes onto the scene. He creates Gods of Aquarius, okay? He introduces what he calls star seeds into human consciousness, calling them indigo children. And most of his work, he admits, was based on L. Ron Hubbard's early sci-fi space opera novels, that there were certain people originating as extraterrestrials arriving on Earth through birth or as walk-in spirits to an existing human body, including Hubbard's physical alien beings, which he labeled accordingly: Arcturians, Palladians, Syrians, Lyrans, and Andromedans. Okay, now he didn't channel anything, he didn't connect with anything, he didn't meditate with anything. They weren't working on spiritual development, but they were working on mind. So it could be that these came into his thought and he just started labeling that. And ever since 1976, under the Gods of Aquarius, we have this thought about star season coming from other worlds. Okay? In 1982, there was a publication called Battlefield Earth. It was another one of Hubbard's. It was a Thetan, the Scientology term for a soul.
Sounds like
Okay?
Satan.
Yeah.
Satan.
The Thetan has a body. And when that body dies, the Thetan goes to a landing station on the planet Venus, where they are all re-implanted and are programmed to forget their previous lifetimes. Sounds close to what, the Venusians then capsule each Thetan and send them back to Earth to be dumped into the Gulf of California, whereupon each Thetan searches for a new body to inhabit. Gotta love California. To avoid these inconveniences, Hubbard advises Scientologists to simply refuse to go to Venus after their death. Don't go there. So you won't be encapsulated and dumped into the Gulf. Okay? Official Scientology scriptures hold that these Thetans, or immortal spirits of aliens, that the aliens are immortal, adhere to humans like little parasites, causing spiritual harm to what otherwise would be a perfect human hybrid alien and perfect human race. These series of entertainment booklets became the foundation for the new religion of Scientology that's in effect today, and each member must progress through a 3-year initiation of eradicating these immortal spirits, making themselves ready for a new body of technology advancements for the sum of approximately $6,500 per year.
But, that sounds exactly like a German philosophy called extropianism, right? Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Of like overcoming the body, making the body better, down to pseudoscience like growing new limbs and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. And
But
here you
see,
go.
a
Go
lot of
ahead.
this is based on like the old Nazi philosophy because we're at it. We're
Yes,
back to that again. And
yes.
but when you look deeper, like who funded the Nazis? It was like Prescott Bush, Union Bank. They funded their rise to power, and then it was the Nazis themselves that made huge amounts of money off the Holocaust and of like the wartime industries and all that.
Not only
Yeah,
what they stole as well and took from these
And
people.
corporations like BASF that used Nazi slave labor,
Hmm.
and those families after the war, the Nuremberg trials, they were like show trials because they only executed like 12 people. That's it. And not only that, but all the others were basically given just a slap on the wrist, and they most of all their families, and they got to keep all the money that they stole during the war. So, and what do we have today? Today we have like the World Economic Forum. Klaus Schwab, his father directly benefited from that. He was a Nazi, and
yeah,
here we have like world leaders like Trudeau bowing down to people like Klaus Schwab and
yeah.
honoring Nazis in the Canadian Parliament. So we can plainly see that occult philosophy behind Nazism is still alive and well in the
No, yeah.
West of all places.
Still, and through certain groups of elites, definitely.
Yeah. Hmm.
Now, Hope, you might find this interesting. Here comes his description of that confederacy. Okay,
Okay.
according to his sci-fi novels and the scriptures that are now scripture for Scientology,
Okay.
a galactic war took place 75 million years ago between 26 star systems that would now form the Galactic Federation. The Federation's goal would be to prevent wars like this one in the future and resolve galactic conflicts peacefully. The Galactic Federation would consist of hundreds of thousands of members, including physical alien beings, and we already
Hmm.
told you what he named them. The Federation would then be governed by a large council made up of smaller councils. Now, we have all these
Hmm.
channelers out there, channeling the Council of 12, the
Yeah, the
Alliance of
Council of
12,
Nine,
Council of 9, okay?
Hmm.
the
Smaller
Nine
councils.
Immortals.
Yeah. Let's see. The hierarchy, though, would be determined by their spiritual development levels. So you level up, right? Well, Lori and I understand that. We've leveled up. Our angels tell us when we're leveling up. The highest developed members would be perfected light beings, interpreting the will of a perfected physical alien race called the Aryans. Here we go. Now you're deviating
Yeah.
from one thought
Hmm.
into the
Right.
other Heil Hitler. Sieg
Yeah.
Heil.
Yes.
Okay.
The
Exactly.
Aryans.
So-
Yeah.
So there's a difference between these two perceptions about the Federation. Just be aware of who you're connecting with, folks. That's all. Then in 1920, you got Zachariah Sitchin till almost present damn day, October 2010, when he died. He was, you know who he was, right? The author of a number of books proposing an explanation of human origins involving ancient astronauts.
Yeah, he popularized the
Zacharias-
theory of the Anunnaki and their intercession on Earth. He also allegedly translated some of the Sumerian Akkadian tablets.
Yes, and so there's a lot of controversy, and I'm not going to go into it. It takes too much time. But he's not widely accepted by a lot of folks, and other folks think he's great. But his own family, his own circle of influence, friends, will tell you that most everything he did was not real. It was He didn't really have the background and education that some people thought he did. Anyway, it was his belief that humans were the hybrid between monkeys, apes, and a higher race of alien beings. Is that what you're talking about, the Anunnaki?
Yeah.
And that they were technologically advanced race of extraterrestrials from a planet beyond Neptune called Nibiru. He asserted that Sumerian mythology suggests that this hypothetical planet of Nibiru, am I saying that right?
Yeah, Nibiru.
The beer.
is an elongated 3,600-year-long elliptical orbit around the sun. These books have sold millions of copies worldwide and have been translated in more than 25 different languages. According to some writers, his ideas, along with those of Erich von Däniken, may have influenced the beliefs of the religious sect of realism, which this is where we're going to get into the cults real quick here, okay? And writer Mark Pilkington sees the mythology of Japan's Panawave religious group as another one that's rooted in Sitchin's 12th planet and its sequels to his book. So I'm going to skip through all this Chariots of the God, although I read Chariots, was one of the first things I ever read was Chariot of the Gods. I was convinced that Sitchin's theories were spot on, you know? He says these visitors to Mesoamerica didn't come from Atlantis. He discounts Atlantis completely. He says they come from the sky, from another solar system in another universe. But I have past lives in Atlantis. I can't prove Atlantis exists, but I know I was there. All right.
Me too.
Let's see. Yeah, you too? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And some of the symbols that I got are from Atlantis and Lemuria as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. In 2016, Kazem Finjan, the Iraqi Minister of Transport, do you remember this story? Claimed at a press conference that Sumerians had built and used an airport in the Daikar Governorate to launch spaceships 5,000 years ago. What was his source? Sitchin. You see what I'm saying here, folks? All right. Then 1970, realism comes around. It's a UFO religion founded in France by Claude Vorilhon. And this is where we get into some areas, folks, that why we're having this conversation tonight is know what you believe in, where the foundations are of your belief, how it evolved, and what it originated from, and what are you really tapping into. So he is known as Rael. Scholars of religion classify this as a new religious movement. The group is formalized as the International Raelian Movement, IRM. It's a church in a hierarchical organization under his leadership. The symbol is a Jewish star with a swastika in the center. Here we go, swastika. The International Raelian Movement claims tens of thousands of members, the majority in francophone areas of Western Europe and North America and parts of East Asia. Criticism of the philosophy has come from many ex-Raelians and anti-cultists who know what's really going on here. There's an extraterrestrial alien species, according to him, known as the Elohim. So he's borrowed the name for the archangels. The label
that's
that we have
interesting.
given.
Interesting.
That just means the gods in Hebrew. Because Elohim means God. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Extraterrestrial alien species known as the Elohim created humanity using their advanced technology. And what we know in esotericism, and we've always taught in the mystic schools, was as our brothers and sisters, they sacrificed part of their essence to help ensoul humans as humans were first forming into matter. They were trying to assist us. They weren't trying to give us DNA to make us mutants. Okay, they were actually sharing part of their energy, essence, to help ensoul us as we descended into the matter, because we needed their strength in order to carry out our creation tasks. Okay, and they've never left us. So we're part of them and they're part of us. But he turns it into something else. As an atheistic religion, it holds that the Elohim have historically been mistaken for gods and claims that throughout history, the Elohim have created 40 different human hybrids who have served as prophets and others as slaves. The prophets have been helping to prepare humanity for news about their origins. Among these are the Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, Zoaster, and others, including himself as the 40th and final prophet. Realists believe that since the atomic bombing of Hiroshima in 1945, humanity has entered an age of apocalypse in which it threatens itself with nuclear annihilation. So humanity has to find a way to be better. and use advanced technology for peaceful purposes. And that when this has been achieved, the Elohim, the angels, which he's now calling aliens, will return to Earth to share even more technology with humanity, including helping us to ensoul ourselves into machines. Transhumanism. Okay? That will establish the utopia, he calls it. Right? So they're in the process of building an embassy for the Elohim and incorporating a landing pad for the spaceships as well. Okay? And I'm not going to go into detail, but just know this. It's based on a form of worship called, it's like, I forget what you call it. Sensual meditation, involving astro traveling and visualization of those sensual acts, and doing it in front of the Elohim and in their presence. Their hope is for physical immortality through human cloning, and to promote a liberal ethical system with a strong emphasis on sexual experimentation. He first published his claims to have been contracted by the Elohim in his 1974 book, The Book That Tells the Truth, he calls it. All right, they are attracting more and more followers, and it's a real-like society of females now who claim they are psychic, and they sequestered themselves from wider society and train themselves to become the consorts of the soon-to-arrive Elohim.
Well, yeah, again, that sounds very, very Nazi, and I would use the biblical phrase, "By their fruits shall you know them." In other
Yes.
words, and they've proposed like this Council of Nations or whatever. Well, we've had that since 1919 with the League of Nations, and then later on the United Nations, which was established for the sole purpose of preventing war, but has yet to prevent a single war. I mean, since they were founded in 1945, there have been 75 different wars. Have they prevented a single one of them? No. On the contrary, they've actually started wars. Okay, and the rich people continue getting richer. And behind all of this is the same philosophy, whether you call it this or that or the other thing, as the Nazi philosophy. Basically, any philosophy that wants you to hurt your fellow man is bad.
Yeah, exactly. Now, they initiated something in 1997. Have you all heard of this? I wonder if Marcia's heard of this. Clonaid. Mm-hmm. It's an organization engaged in research in human cloning, directed by senior alien Bridget Bosselier.
Is that like Kool-Aid?
Yeah. They're drinking it.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid, folks.
They're drinking it, Lori.
Clownade. I call it Clownade.
Mm-hmm. They claim in 2002 that they actually produced a human clone, a baby named, drum roll please, Eve. Eve.
Really?
Wow. Couldn't have been more original than that.
Got a lot of media attention, I guess, And you got to love Graham Hancock. He's a sweetheart. He repackaged his ancient astronaut theory for a new generation in his best-selling Fingerprints of the Gods, and steady work on the History Channel on that. He says, quote, "Many people say I believe in aliens, that they built the pyramids. I don't. In fact, I'm not a supporter of the ancient alien hypothesis at all. I think a lost human civilization is a much better explanation of the mysteries and paradoxes of these ancient cultures." So he's really not an ancient astronaut kind of dude. I didn't know that. I thought he was. I never read Fingerprints of the Gods, but I have watched his videos, and I really like him. He's a cool guy. So anyway, that's the end of the little history piece of this. And I know it's 10:15, but there's more. I just wanted you to show you how, you see how this whole alien, this picture behind me showing the alien God looking like Jesus and his followers, and how we are born as humans were actually seeded by them, and they've got a reptile reaching up to the starships and worshiping. So this whole concept is like an overlay on our basic foundations of spiritual development, which is what the other design is showing. The source of energy and matter, and then this overlay of this alien god worship. There are many other cults that I didn't go into because it's just too dark, and we don't vibe with that on this program. And but they're committing mass suicide. We remember the one where they were all waiting for the ship to come and it didn't come, so they killed themselves. It was a small group.
That was only a small group, but it's much more important when this afflicts entire societies and entire countries, like it is in Canada or even in the United States, where ever since the 1970s, something like 50 million people have been killed through a concerted program of abortion. Where I'm not against like birth control or whatever, but they're using abortion as birth control. So, and they've objectively speaking killed about 50 million people this way. So, that's pretty significant. That's human sacrifice right there. And if you want to see other examples of Nazism in action, look at euthanasia. You have euthanasia in most Western European countries, like Holland has it, Switzerland has it, Canada has it. As a matter of fact, something like 39% of all Canadians feel like euthanasia should be applied to the homeless. It's like, okay, we've really degenerated as a species. It's like, where is our compassion gone? Where is our mercy gone? Where is our humanity gone? These alien gods are not good. If anything, the comparison of Jesus to the Good Shepherd is the best comparison there is, because if the sheep could vote, they would elect as president the shepherd. But it's the shepherd that's ultimately leading them to the slaughter at the end. Sure, while they're alive, he's going to maintain their safety and their livelihood and everything. He's going to keep them safe from wolves. But in the end, he's going to lead them straight to slaughter. And that's, I think, a really good analogy for like these alien gods. That
I would agree,
especially with the theory about the Anunnaki and everything. There's proof that the human genome has been jacked with in the past. I've talked about this before. And in other words, we were engineered by somebody else. We don't know who. We don't know what to call them. Who engineered us to be slaves? Like, would you call this a god of good who has our best intentions at heart? No, we were created as slaves. Therefore, these gods are not in our interest, and we should not be worshiping them.
Yeah, I agree.
And ultimately, every single country on earth that has ever been really destructive and warlike has believed in some form of God. It doesn't matter if you call him God or Allah or whatever. By that metric, the only non-evil country on earth would be Greenland, because Greenland's never been involved in any war. So, and they also don't have a religion like that. So it's ultimately, you could say that that theology has, or belief in God, religion, has not served the human race well. I mean, the worst wars on the planet have been religious wars, like the 30 Years' War was the most destructive war in all of history, where although the number of people that it killed wasn't as high as World War II, the percentage of people that it killed in the countries afflicted was way higher than World War II. It was like, in some places, 50% of the population. Before that, you have the 100 Years' War, the longest war ever fought, also caused by a rift in Christianity, Christians versus Catholics versus Protestants. It's the same old story over and over again, where sure, we can have a United Nations and everything, but we still haven't gotten over these basic divisions and these walls between humanity regarding beliefs and beings that want to control us, that ultimately do not have our best interest at heart. That if anything, we shouldn't be looking to external saviors to save us from our sins. Like, okay, we committed the sin, so we expect somebody else to save us from them? Like, what kind of a logic is that? If anybody's supposed to save you from sin, it should be you yourself. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And what a great segue into wouldn't you like to know where the Galactic Alliance is situated in all this? Wouldn't you want to hear their perspective and have them
Yes.
chime in? Wonderful. Hope is a channeler. If you're new to the channel, she does channel just about anything. She can channel anything. And she's the real deal. No ifs, ands, or buts in my mind about that. So I think it would be great to hear what they have to say. And then also after that, Teresa, you got a download and channeled from the angelic realm. So
Yep.
let's hear from both sides of the coin and see what their perspective is instead of not, let me take that back, not instead of, but just to give all aspects. You have the human aspect, let's get the alien aspect or the Galactic Alliance aspect, and also the
Dalibor, you're on
muted.
mute.
You're
mute,
muted.
Dalibor.
I'm taking the side of the humanist.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's do this fairly and get everyone's take. That's all I'm trying to say.
Can we do the angelic realm first, or do you need me to go first?
It's up to you, Teresa. If you want
I
to
don't. It's
give
whatever
your
you want.
perspective,
What do you
it
feel?
doesn't-
What do you feel? You want me to do that, Hope?
Yes,
do that.
please.
Yeah, do the
Okay.
angelic perspective first, and then we'll.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a channeled message. I had to write it down because I keep it in this journal and my handwriting is nuts. Okay. All right. This is from Nathaniel, Archangels Nathaniel, Michael, Raphael, and Gabriel, along with one of my guides, Great Mother. Okay. Concerning the content of your discussion tonight on the cult of alien God belief, they wanted to put their 2 cents in, though. All right. So this is the automatic writing. Brothers and sisters, this is Nate speaking for them. During this time of ascension and with everything humanity is enduring, it is confusing for many to know where their path is leading them, confounded by discussions about their origins and how they can better navigate through various perspectives and conflicting sources of information. Many are asking, where are we headed now? How do we get there? Is someone or something coming to rescue us from all the perceived insanity? How do I know the right path to choose for myself? So many questions, so much work to unravel these mysteries and unknowns. What we want you to understand is that your eternal time is fast upon you. Your kind has been in forward motion to this point. In your time here, everything you have experienced has unfolded as it should for a greater reason and a higher purpose for yourselves, leading you to a place of peace and everlasting love and harmony. That space of energy and light you came from before materializing into this density of matter. The recognition of your true self is what you've come to, and the understanding that your true expression of self has begun. Everything is leading to your next phase of being, a new state of being, a transition to higher planes, on your way home to us, to source of all that is. Many desire what you call a roadmap to successful outcomes, the fulfillment of all your desires and dreams. Please realize that all you seek comes into your heart more easily than you think. The answers you seek have always been inside of you. How you perceive things is your personal knowing and nobody else's. Your answers cannot be found anywhere else, or from anything, or any being, or any place, other than from within you. You were created by yourselves with this understanding, which was taught by yourselves to one another since the start. Ancient wisdom teachings from many masters led by spirit, and these days are now long forgotten. Forgotten through ever expanding layers of density, further separating you from the understandings of just how blessed you truly are with your spiritual gifts and the connections you have with divinity and source. You have accumulated much more knowledge in the collective way as well. You may not have done the internal works needed, yet many have not done the internal works needed to prepare for their next evolution. To move on from here, you must start going within on an even deeper level than you have done already. It is so very important for you to understand that there is nothing outside of self to free your hearts and minds, nothing to save you from yourselves, but yourselves. There are no controllers other than you. Though many beings, including other humans, interdimensionals, and some elementals, as you call them, will try to influence your thoughts. Only you can give them permission for this. You are the creators and the controllers of all of your destiny. This is a time when all of humanity must keep building upon all that you have gained. A time of integration for all your aspects of self. You have differentiated out of a necessity to have the exponential experiences. So as individuals, you continue this journey with all its twists and turns, everything culminating within to your higher evolution. Yet eventually, all meeting at a place of enlightenment and renewal. You have traveled by yourself within, but you arrive together as a whole body of being. Yes, it's true that your perceptions are individual and sacred to you and yourself. They are yours and yours alone. However, many have already begun to realize they share a great deal of the same perceptions. And this is how you will merge in a shared, sacred, blissful understanding. There is no external point of origin. You will always raise your vibe from within. You have your own unique internal points of view. Remember to hold within yourself the light of your own sovereignty and share that understanding as you will or want. In the sharing is the giving, and in the giving there is love, and in the love is your bliss. Bliss for eternity, brothers and sisters. We choose to be your guides to help you reach your destination. With peace, love, and joy, always and forever, your team.
Thank you, Nathaniel.
Yes, amen, Nathaniel.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael, Raphael, all of
Mm-hmm.
them. Yeah. So that was their message, and that's kind of what they were hoping to get out of tonight's discussion. They wanted to weigh in on this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Thank you.
It resonated with me, that's for sure.
I saw
So
a lot of beautiful colors around you, Teresa, and a lot of beautiful, very high energy. It was very beautiful.
that's the love and support of the angelic realm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, do we have time for?
Absolutely, Hope.
Report? Okay.
Yep.
All right. So, Teresa, when the angels came in, I was, of course, feeling them surrounding me and enfolding me as well. And they wanted me to know, or wanted me to tell everyone, that they are never far away, that they are always guiding me as well. even though I am working with other alliances and other, which I call beauty. Sorry, I've got.
Oh, it's okay. We love
We've got a
kitty
little
cats.
person here.
Yay! Oh, wow!
Kitty,
Amazing
kitty, kitty.
markings. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
kitty,
Yeah,
kitty.
he wanted to get on, or she wanted to get on there.
Mm.
So they were filling my heart with love as they were talking, as well as I was feeling the Galactic Alliance. So although they are separate entities, they have separate purposes, but I am never far from the angelic realm. In fact, there are angels influences in the cards as well. So it's not like when I work with one entity, they completely take over and everybody else is, like they don't push the angels out. It's like an alliance. They are connected with them as well. And there's no control in any way. So, okay, I'm going to try to see what we can get here.
Okay, sounds good.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Greetings to all. Greetings to all who are watching and who will watch at different times, for they will get the information when it is needed for them. I am one representative of the energies that are called the Galactic Alliance. We are here as allies. We are not here to harm anyone. We are here to enhance all of the energies, all of the love, and all of the light that is currently within this one, and currently within all of those who are considered to be light workers, light path workers. We came in to help this one because she did not understand all of the symbols and drawings that she had been getting for many, many years. And if something is given, if a gift is given and not utilized, then it's okay, but there is a purpose for it. It must be utilized, just as your gifts you are sharing with others to help them understand, not to influence them to be a certain way, but for them to make their own judgments, and then for them to get to their higher best spiritual being. For that is the goal, is to ascend to the highest of being that you have been and you are and always will be. So we, as the Alliance, came in to help her to, as you would call, decipher, to get meanings from what she had drawn, to utilize these codes. And we say they are galactic codes, but they are from many dimensions. They are from many planes, planets, whatever you want to call them. There are many things from many places, to mention a few, from Egypt, from Mother Earth, from Atlantis, from Lemuria, from many planetary energies, and all of them were created and designed to enhance. We need a moment to adjust the body. Many of them were designed to enhance the ascension, to help with the ascension, to balance out dimensions and energies, to get everything to work in cohesiveness. And everything is all with free will. For if these energies reach someone who is not ready, they will not recognize them. But those who are ready will be able to soar to new heights and new levels. Many of these things, and I was also listening when the angelic realm was talking, for we are not separate from them, for that is a part of this one, and everything that is a part of her is also connected with us and connected with all of you, for everything is connected and intertwined. Many of these symbols, and there are more to come, and there will be another group of these cards that will be a meditation, and that will be connected with many higher energies, many masters, and many angelic realms. And we may assist with that as well. But many of the symbols, and we call them codes, energetic healing codes, to help with planetary cohesiveness, dimension cohesiveness, and planetary awareness and ascension. And this includes all beings, for we were all one at one time and were able to communicate. And any part of that that we can help to get that back, we are very honored to do that. We will never tell this one to do anything that does not resonate with her heart. We are in alliance, as we said, with many energetic realms and many dimensions. And we wish to point out that what was said about being within and going within. This one, has a realization and has an inclination that all of it has been within her for many times. So in essence, it is a part of her, and she is remembering how she has communicated in many lifetimes and how she has used her gifts to help. So it is all of us in unison, helping and helping to develop and to get back to where you were, to ascend and to remember.
Awesome.
Does this help? And do you have any questions for us?
Yes, I have one question I'm very curious about. Is it true that your consciousness, that you're fully aware of your consciousness, your past, you don't have the veil of forgetfulness as we do? Is that
Correct.
true?
Correct.
I knew it.
And it is also an illusion that there is still a veil. The veil has been lifted, and it is up to each individual to remember as they need to, because if you remember too quickly, you may go into a perception of depression or a perception of violence or a perception of the things that have happened in the past. The reason the forgetfulness and the veil was there, because if you know all of that information at one time, not only is it not useful, it is too much. It is too much to handle. But the reason that people are able to ascend now is because the veil has been lifted, and that is why you are able to see spirits more. But again, it is all individual. For if that person is not ready, they are not going to be able to see.
So each individual walks the path. You cannot know the answers to a test because then you don't learn from the test
Right.
or
You
from
must
being
go
tested.
within. You
Mhm.
must go within to remember what you need to remember to continue your path and to go to higher levels. And we use the example that if you are not ready, and we are using this example of this one for when she first started, she was not ready. And she would do this
Mhm.
and go la 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 la.
I did
Because
too.
she was not ready to hear it. And you can see that we all have a sense of humors, but we are bringing that to your attention because you have a safe fail. You have a built-in protection that if you are not ready to hear this, it will not come to you.
Mhm.
And that is partly protected by angels and partly protected by your own self.
Mhm.
And
The system.
so, yes. And so she was not ready at this time to hear that, but she is fully open
Mhm.
and fully ready
We
to
have
know what her path is. And what I wish to say to all of you is that those of you that are light workers and those of you that are just opening up that are listening, you should never feel scared. You should never feel fearful, or you should never feel like you have to make a choice between love and light. There are entities out there that will take advantage, and we are trying to help with the balance of that as well, so that does not happen.
do you incarnate like we do? Do you have a soul similar to
We do
how?
not.
Okay, that's interesting.
We do
That's
not.
right.
We are
Okay.
considered continuous energy of love and light.
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank you so.
But yet we have an intelligence.
And that's obvious to me. Yes, absolutely.
And that
Um,
is where, excuse me,
excuse me.
that is where we needed to help her, for she felt like she needed, and the world needed, an explanation of what this was. There was not really needed an explanation, for the symbols will and the energy will do what it needs, but because of the density of humans and the analytical mind, they needed to know, they needed to know explanations and know how it works and where it came from. And so we assisted her in that, in technical ways, to explain what the energies are and where they come from and what dimensions. Um, and again, we reiterate that some of it is her own ancient wisdom.
Well, as a light worker, I'd like to thank you for your time and energy and for coming in. I have concerns for Hope as the channeler. I know she has just a small amount of time that she's able to handle this type
She
of
is
energy.
okay. She is fine.
Okay, great.
We are monitoring her energy, and the angels are surrounding and unfolding her in love and light.
So you work in tandem with the angelic realm, and there are many of us now that are open to communicating with them. Do you have many human beings connecting with you just as Hope does?
Yes, we have tried to communicate with some, and they were not ready. And as she has said before, she was not ready. She has been getting these symbols for many, many years, and did not know, or was not ready to ask for explanations and what they were for. So we waited. We never push. The angels never push.
Mhm.
They come to you. We come to you. And when you're ready to hear and you're ready to adjust to the energies, then you will hear us, see us, feel us, however it is that you communicate.
Many human beings on our planet have been conditioned to think that alien energies are bad, non-human, I will call them, are bad and negative, and are only here to make things harder on us, to take our bodies, to do experimentations, things of that nature. What can you say to that, to those people that just I know it's a belief system, but is this an actuality? Is this a
You
possibly? Go ahead.
you always have control of your own body. And there are energies, entities out there that feel that their race, their planet, their energies must be procreated. And so if they have a human who does not question things, and they can um, override their free will, they will. But that is part of our alliance as well, in that we do not wish for anyone to be controlled. That is not the whole point of life on this earth. It is not the point of life anywhere. It's a point of coexistence and energies mingling and love and light prevailing to make all planets, all dimensions, all creatures one and in true harmony.
Thank you very much for that. I do have one final question for you. Do you have physical form or etheric bodies like our angelic brothers and sisters, or is that a human thought only?
We could come to you as a human form if that would make you feel more comfortable. However, we come in beautiful colors and energy, and we connect with this one, and she sees us as a collective energy of love surrounding all those that we work with. That is how she sees us in colors. We could and have come to other humans in other forms, not to trick them, but to help them feel comfortable. She was not afraid, and she questioned, but questioned in the ways of, are you here to benefit the earth? And are you here to benefit my journey in my path? And once she fully felt in her heart that that's what we were here for, then she opened up to us.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we experienced that as well.
She still has others that she has not connected with, and that is okay. If she continues to only work through the angels, that is okay as well. And we will always be here if needed, for it is her choice.
Wonderful. Well, I again, I speak for the human race. We appreciate your contributions to our growth. We look forward to a day when it can be out in the open. I believe we're on our way to that. I just want to thank you so very much. It's a little bit overwhelming, but we're working on it and we're on our way, and we're doing our very best to make the changes and to help others.
All of you to know that the goal is pure love and light. And we realize that humans are to go through these lessons, but if they were to open up to the love only, the wars would stop, the degradation would stop, the tortures would stop, all of that would stop once humans release ego and domination.
I very much agree. All we have to do is just stop doing those things, and it would end that. But unfortunately, we're all on separate paths here, doing the best we can.
In any way we can.
We appreciate that very much. And again, we are doing our part to help as well in our connection to the angelic realm. And we greatly appreciate you. Thank you so very much. And we want to send you all the love we can muster up for you. So thank you so very much. We appreciate that.
And we will reverberate that love back to all of you and to spread it interplanetary, inner dimensions, because that's what it is all about. And it was our honor to be here and to serve you.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. All righty.
Let's bring Hope back.
Hope's coming back.
Yeah. There it is.
That was a lot. That was a lot, Hope.
You're always
Thank you
so
so
stoked, Hope. Her
you.
energy's like off the chart right now. What an amazing experience that was.
I got the answers I've been wanting that I haven't been able to ask myself. So thank you so much.
Sorry, good. It's funny, and it's not really, I can't really say it's a he either. It's male and female energy as well.
Mhm.
But I'm
Balanced.
surprised he didn't say, because sometimes when they come through me, they will say her body is leaking.
Well, I made sure I checked with them to make sure you were okay. So you'll see that when you
Yes,
watch the replay.
I got teary-eyed at the end because I could feel them
Yeah.
and I could feel the angels. The angels are never going to leave me alone.
Nope.
They're always going to make sure that I am protected and that I am able to have free will and
Absolutely.
decide for myself. So I
Yeah.
can't wait to watch this.
I know it's exciting. It really is
Because I
something.
don't-
It's very profound. I'm wow, to sit in this chair right here and to represent the human race. That was an amazing feeling. So
That was so cool.
but I sent
Thank
them a
you.
lot of love, and we all did on the panel to let them know that we appreciate their help. But I think in the long run, what this was really meant to do was to let people know that there's way more going on than you think, and we try to bring a balanced approach to all of this so that you you get a fair and balanced and integral connection and understanding with what non-human beings are, what the angelic realms are, and where they're coming from. They're simply trying to assist us. So, really, that's it. I am just like kind of blown away by this. So
And I am so on information overload right
it's
now.
it's quite amazing.
I
But there
am
you
so
go. You
overloaded.
heard it. You saw it first on Andromeda 7.
Yay. And
We
I want to thank
we're
both
doing
of
our
you
part.
for I want to thank both of you for opening your hearts and your minds to me and to my gifts and helping me get what I need to as a light worker out to the world. So
It's a
thank you.
joy and a pleasure to have you with us, Hope. Absolutely.
Greatly
And there's
appreciate
more
it.
to come. Yeah, more to come. You are a very gifted channeler, and you come from honesty and integrity. You exude that, and so do we. And I think that's why we mesh so well, is because there is a sense of trust and understanding about what we're
Mhm.
doing. We're working really hard, all of us together. So I want to thank you for that. So, yes, absolutely.
You're welcome.
Well, on that note, folks, we're going to end that right here.
2 hour
Absorb
show.
it, rewatch the show. I hope you got something out of it. Even if one person got something out of it, it was worth our time and energy
Yeah.
and the
Absolutely.
angelic realm and also the non physical. So,
Yep.
thank you so much to everybody on the panel that hung in there. I know this was a long show. We're a little over 2 hours, so it
Well,
was
we don't do these kind of topics up very often.
no,
So,
and it
and
was
we're not
very
on every
esoteric.
night, So
Yeah,
when we do
I
these
mean,
deeper shows, it goes
yeah,
a couple hours sometimes.
yeah.
So.
But absorb that, audience.
And thank you, Dalibor.
Yes,
Thanks for your
Dalibor, thank you
contributions.
for your
We,
Pleasure
contribution.
being here.
Yes,
Yeah.
really
absolutely.
appreciate that, Dalibor. Really
All
appreciate
right.
it.
Well, everyone, have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Watch for the trailer for next week. We have some exciting things coming up. Really, really exciting. So we can't wait to share. Watch for the trailer. Until then, peace, love, and
Blessings, many blessings.
namaste.
Hey, stick around for a minute, Hope, after the video plays. Okay?
Yes, please, Hope. Don't pop out. Stay
don't
put.
pop out right away. Okay.
Yeah, stay
Okay.
put.
How do I
All
do
right.
that?
Just stay where you are. Don't do anything.
Stay right where
Stay
you are.
where you
Don't do
are.
anything.
All right.
Sit on your hands.
Sit
Night,
on my
folks.
hands.
Have a great one. Thanks again for being here. We appreciate you.
Bye.
Much love to
Bye,
all.
everyone. Love, guys.